So with our handsome Mr. B, he says, you took out the bed, I might as well go plop on it. Smart man. So I figure we might as well start working a little bit again with his favorite, which of course is going to his target bed and working a bit with Stay. I love that no matter what is going on, if I plop out the target bed, he tends to always go for it. So it's super cute. So if you find that you get this type of reliable behavior at home, try bringing, I mean, obviously you're not going to be traveling, going for a walk with your dog and lugging around a dog cot, but maybe you can, for example, go park somewhere, do some sniffy walks in a safe little zone to do so, but don't have it be a high traffic zone that maybe there's no option but to have the person or dog or both come walking right up to you and past you. But instead, make it where you might set up your little zone and maybe you watch people entering and exiting from, let's say, Tractor Supply, or maybe, for example, heat depending as well for all of these situations. Maybe you go to the West Boylston Rail Trail, and as opposed to going into the trail, which could be really hard for some of the dogs as they're going face to face, have it be more about watching while you can still practice find it or doing exploration in the field area. And you might even set up your cot near your car and have a little zone where you take breaks and little rest periods and watch the world pass you by. But that's one of my favorites, is to go and kind of see things happen versus always have to be intimate or pass or approach them, which for some babes is very hard. So we're going to tell him to stay. And now that he's on his dog bed, I'm pretty certain he's just going to chill because it's one of his favorite spots. And we'll do, again, a little bit with some distractions because I'm not facing him this time. He's finally facing the camera, which is probably a much cuter angle, no offense to him. But I know with most of the beauties, when they're practicing, they always end up facing me, which is over on this side. So, but now this time he can go ahead and be cute on camera. Oh, we got our train going by, which is always another new, fun, noisy adventure. Yes, what a good job. But a little bit of hair on your nose. That's probably teddy hair. We'll just wipe it away. I know that was my bad. We'll do a little bit of a down again. He's like, but I thought we were going to be all set. Here, you want to do the lengthwise so you have more space. There we go. Down. There we go. That's much more comfortable. So then I'm going to tell him to stay, and we're just going to start again from here. So if by accident me trying to swipe the hair off his nose got him a little bit confused, I'm just going to restart it up. No big deal. Yes. And feed for this lovely stay position. I'm going to try something a little bit harder. Nice. Good job. He's like, no, but that does look amazing. So let's say he's like, I would love to have a bumper. Sorry, that was probably a little too challenging. So if sometimes you're trying something new and your puppy wiggles and they get a little too eager, just restart them off. He isn't in trouble. He was curious. He's like, he does get to play with toys. That wasn't a leave it item. I was just trying to be a bit distracting, and technically I was too distracting. So again, stay. So if your puppy does happen to break and you kind of can figure out, well, why did they? Then it could be that maybe I tried something and it was a little too hard for starters. Yes. He says, but he really loves toys. So that was, again, a little too challenging. We'll just do some wiggling for now. And we'll do some noises. And of course, now you have the caboose. So sorry about that. He switched up his body position. I also would like some toys. What a smart boy. Yes. So, but with the generalization of any of these skills, remember that if your babe is really not faring well, try to either gauge, well, what could be in the environment that might be driving behavior? What could be, for example, the element that was novel? Has my puppy actually been able to practice these skills before needing them in the real world? Because remember, for a lot of babes, generalizing behavior takes a lot of reps and practice. So if you're finding that the only time your puppy does a downstay is on their dog bed, it might be because that's been so well rehearsed that when we asked for a downstay, let's say at Tractor Supply, he doesn't think it's the same behavior. So there's moments where you have to kind of tweak it a little bit, where you're adding a little bit of novelty to the setup. So that way your babe can start to figure out that generalization means that no matter where we are for the environment, distraction's sake, or texture, or placement of his body in different zones, but it still is the same behavior. So this is exhausting. He's doing a very nice job with his downstay. He says, lady, I'm so tired. Yes. He's like, oh my gosh, please make it be all done. Here, maybe what we'll do is we'll turn a little bit and we'll set you up right here so people can see how cute you are. So again, we'll do a little stay and we'll start again. That's a much cuter angle. No offense. You're still very, very cute little caboose. So throughout the stay, again, we're feeding for being stationary. So we're building up value in being stuck. So I always think about, again, your stays as in like freeze tag. Oh my goodness, chew them. Goodness me, nobody chews today. Freeze tag with room service. So all the fun happens while you're stationary and stuck, not for when you get up and you break from your position. Yes, nice job. So let's say I'm going to try one more rep, and then I'm probably going to give him a little break from working his gorgeous stay positions. He's really doing a very nice job. He's like, oh, can we please be done? He's so tired. Yes, nice. All done. Gorgeous. Smart man. So again, for being up in a wiggly guy, I do want to give him a little find it just to get him up and moving. I am going to give him a little break. I'm just going to move this off to the side, so it's just not for him to go target for now. What a good job you did with your stays, sir. So maybe what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of some loose leash walking, and then I want to practice a little bit with having him be on my side and then bringing him into my front. Yes, nice job. So remember with fronts, he does not have to be sitting. So if you find that fronts in the beginning are easier to do while in motion, start that way. So, but sometimes the benefit of this front again is to help him go from heading towards something. Oh gosh, there's a squirrel. Ready, front? And you could get him in front of you facing away from the thing. And then that can be really, really helpful for him or for the situation too, if there's a trigger or something that could be too spooky or too exciting. So he's like, that was amazing. And then we might bring him back to this. Oh, his cheese fell right out of his mouth, right back to the side position. Maybe he'll find it. Or not cheese. He has some other little tidbits. Chicken, maybe? I'm not sure. They're like a jerky that's been ripped up. Yes. So then throughout the walking, I'm just feeding again for being by the side of my body, just building in that the benefit of being nearby is got some really great value from his perspective. Yes. It's always embarrassing though when the snack gets stuck in your jowls. So then we might do a little find it, get him up and take a little pause and then see if he can come back into my space. Oh my goodness, chewing. He says chewing. Oh my goodness, you better chew them, sir. Maybe we'll try to go for a smaller one that I can break up a little bit smaller for this handsome man. So we might go from here. Ready, front. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm winded. Yes. And then from being in front, I might lure him back to my side position. Nice. And again, it doesn't have to be the most beautiful thing you've ever done, especially towards the end of the day when all the babes have had some play and some practice. They also too get a little bit physical or mentally or physically fatigued too. So ready, front. Yes, I'm gonna feed for that. And then back to the side or the finish. If he gets a little stuck, I like to take a step or so, help him, and then replace him sort of by the leg again. Nice. Then you can continue with your walk once more. Yes. So, but having a few little novel dance moves to rotate through does keep it a little bit more engaging and less about just being stuck to your leg and then not doing much fun. So I would make sure that obviously throughout his walk, he's still doing some nice sniffy walk time, because that's going to be really important for him mentally and physically. So because again, since your puppy sees their whole world through their sense of smell, we want to give the time to go sniff, explore, but then also be able to come back from that. Ready? Bodie, here. He's like, hold up. Where are we going? Where are you going? To the water bowl? Nope, he's coming. Here he comes. Good job. Beautiful. So maybe what we'll do is we'll go ahead, we'll give Mr. B a breather. So, but all of the lovely gentlemen and our little lady, oh my goodness, did a really great job for day number 1 for this round of the day school. So for next week, if, for example, for Miss P, because it's Phoenix, don't mind me with my phonics. So if Miss Phoenix, if you want to bring a blanket or dog bed that she might like to target at home, and then we can use it here too, that might be another great venue for her. But all of the babes did a really, really nice job. So great job with having a little trail mix of goodies for all of the lovelies. Some of them were kind of really big snacks that I would have to try to rip up, but they're kind of difficult to chop, some of them. So I would recommend that if you have bigger training treats, like in just their bags that they originally came with, if it's possible to chop some of them up and put them in a little separate baggie. I know some of you already do this, but for some of the newer friends, I don't want them to go through so many big chunks of snacks that they're getting either too full or a tummy upset. So if we can break the snacks into itty bitty pieces, which again, some of the babes did have teeny snacks, then it's going to be less snacks given, but more reps that I can do with the same amount of food, but many smaller portions. But Mr. B says he's all set. He did a very good job. We'll do a little find it. We'll call it a day for the handsome boy and for the rest of the gang. So nice job.